Yo, welcome back to SeaBed. Last time we saw some tips. We saw some extra scenes from moments we had already seen before, I think. And then we went back to Takako's POV in the sanatorium. She got mind freaked when she went to Kozwe's room and everything went dark. And then they ate dinner, and that was it. We didn't unlock any tips, right? I don't think so. No, we didn't. I'm pretty sure we didn't. Okay, then let's continue. Okay, wait. One thing I noticed. Sorry to do this again. I did this a few episodes ago, I think. I looked at the gallery. Okay, first of all, there's still this, which is a bit ominous. But I'm only here. There's 6 pages, which are all full. Am I only halfway through the game? Really? There's no way, right? I'm only halfway through? Really? Okay, sure. I have no idea how long this game is, so maybe I'm only halfway through. Maybe we'll get more epic dinner adventure. Okay, I was here. Okay, yeah, they're cleaning up after dinner. Sadae and Koze returned to their rooms after dinner. Maiko, busy washing the dishes in the kitchen, spotted me as I brought over the leftover plates and proceeded to thank me. Where should I put them? Just put them in the sink. Okay. I placed them down with a low clang. Maiko picked up one of the plates and began brushing a bubbling sponge against it. She finished the 4 sets of plates in a couple of minutes and placed them on the drying rack. Though she seemed to only be lightly washing the plates, I had yet to see a single spot on any of the ones I hate from. There was something relieving about how she worked. Maybe I just got used to the sight. Need help? I'm almost done. It's already late, so you should go to sleep. I see. I turned around before reaching the kitchen door and faced Maiko's back. What is it? Maiko asked without looking at me. I sleep in my own room tonight. Oh, hang on. We'll go Sachiko. Okay. Good night then. Good night. I laid on my futon and closed my eyes, but realized I wasn't sleepy. There was something bothering me. I remembered how I saw Sachiko in Kozwe's room. I wanted to meet her again, but I didn't know what to do to achieve that. Just leave. I turned on the desk lamp and picked up the notebook. There was only a few pages left now. September 23rd, 1975. Okay, so this is like the day after the last diary entry we saw? The ray of the sun filtered in through the marmalade-colored western window of the kindergarten, elongating the shadows of the three of us inside. Okay, sorry, I'm still hung up on the whole sun rising in the west thing. So you're saying that the window is the western window, and you're saying the sun is filtering in through the western window. So the sun is facing the western window. So the sun is in the west. I mean, that still doesn't tell us anything unless we know whether it's morning or evening, I guess. All the other children had already had their parents come pick them up. Okay, it's evening. So this is not in a dream. Okay. Meanwhile, we're still playing doctor. Oh, we saw this scene, right? Takako is a doctor, and Narasaki is the patient, and I just held a book that was supposed to be a medical record and stared at them. Who the fuck is Narasaki? Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Narasaki's the fucking toy. Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, so what does this mean? Oh my god. You got me. Narasaki's the fucking toy. So who else has interacted with Narasaki? Is it only Kozue? It might be. I feel like I recall. No. What's her name? The aunt, right? Lily. That was her name, right? I think Lily interacted with Narasaki as well. Okay, what do I even write in my notes? Narasaki is a toy? Okay. Narasaki is a doll. Okay, I'll write that down. I mean, Narasaki also interacted with the fucking... Oh god, I forgot everyone's name because I haven't played in a week. The girl who owns the thing, who we went to the hot spring with, who we met in Italy. Nanae. Pretty sure Narasaki also interacted with Nanae, and she interacted with the kid that looked like Takako and her brother. I don't know, man. But okay, obviously Narasaki is a toy here. Takako was investigating the condition of Narasaki's belly. Does the stethoscope have a right and a wrong side? Yeah, this is the scene we saw last time. Takako turned to me. You're holding it correctly. I see. She took the stethoscope off and put it on the table. There was a whole lineup of toy medical tools on it, all to be used as part of the game. Takako looked over them for a second, and after a brief moment of hesitation, what is this? She picked up a spatula used to hold down the tongue. Ah, the nurse is looking. I turned around and saw the nurse looking her way. She picked up a plush bunny we left on the floor earlier and put it back into its box. Was she looking at us? Yes. You seem to be a very untrustworthy doctor. I fear for your future patients if you ever actually become one. Ugh. I think Narasaki's better at it than you, Takako. Okay, we can switch if you want. I put down the book that was supposed to be the medical record and took the stethoscope from Takako's hands. Then I lifted up Narasaki and placed her on my knees. Fuck you. So, where does it hurt? I voiced the question in a mature tone. I ate a poison apple. Just like in the story I read today. Is Takako, like, putting on a voice and pretending to be Narasaki? In that case, please show me your stomach. Okay. Takako pulled up her shirt, exposing her naked belly. I used Narasaki's hand to get the stethoscope to it. Okay, no. Sachiko is pretending to be Narasaki, who is doing the stethoscope on Takako. Okay. Alright, turn around now. Takako did as ordered, pantomiming a spinning chair. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with your lungs. Okay, let's have a look at your throat now. Takako spun her invisible chair again and opened her mouth. Open wide, yeah, just like that, yeah. I pressed the spatula into Narasaki's hand and used it to push Takako's tongue out of the way. You're good at opening your mouth. Thank you, people say that a lot about me. I can see all the way to your tonsils. The nose toward mood, the same thing. Yeah, we saw this exact scene. Oh man, we saw this exact scene previously, but I'm not sure if the narration was the same. Like, I'm not sure if they made it as clear that Narasaki was a toy. Like, I don't think they said that, like, I used Narasaki's hand to guide the stethoscope to it, and I lifted up Narasaki and placed her on my knees. I don't think that narration bit was in there the last time we saw this. Actually, last time we saw this, wasn't this from Narasaki's POV? I think it was, right? I need to go back and check. I have no idea what you're saying, though. Beginning to feel sleepy, I closed the book. I placed the notebook by the pillow and collapsed it onto the bed on my back. That day, I had a dream of my past. I dreamed of a hot summer day. Alright. Is this a dream? Chapter 6. Oh, okay. A train heading far away. You back to Sachiko? Okay, Narasaki, I've got some questions, if you don't mind. I could hear the cry of cicadas around me. The hot, humid air felt heavy on my skin. A row of large trees extended in front of me. There was a slide connected to a jungle gym, a swing, a tire half buried in the ground, and a sandbox. I turned around and saw a row of tall trees behind me. They reminded me of cedars, but their leaves were flat and big. Even when you were 4 years old, you still knew the names of every tree and every animal. It's very impressive. There's a green fence behind them, and beyond that fence there was a wide, deep ditch. I couldn't see the bottom from here, but I could tell there was a river, roughly 5 meters deep, running through it. The park area was shaped like a shortcake, situated between the ditch and the road. Okay. I wonder if this is another dream. Whoa! What do you mean by... Whoa. What do you mean, I wonder if this is another dream? Takako let out a shout as she dashed towards me. What? Okay, so this is a dream. I caught her by the armpits and lifted her up, making her stop. She raised one of her hands in an attempt to imitate Superman. That's not what we're playing here. Disappointed, she dropped her arm. Do you know who I am? My bride. That's the girl who passed by me earlier, no? A shocking realization came over Takako, making her blink a few times. That's right. Good grief. I looked around the park, still holding Takako. What? There were a bunch of faded toys scattered in the sandbox. I couldn't tell whether the sun, partially hidden by the mountain range, was rising or setting. The sky had a light pink hue with only a few light clouds drifting on it. Let me down. I put her back on solid ground. Is there a bug you like, miss? I'll catch it for you. I don't need any insects. And what do you want to play? Tag? I'd rather not. I can show you something great. She hurried over to the swings, climbed on the right one, and began swinging up and down. I followed her, but before I could reach her, she crouched down in preparation of a jump, then let go of the bars and fucking died. She landed on the tail bar in front of the swing, but inertia carried her too far. She began tilting forward. Ugh, how many times do you want to get hurt doing this? I got her before she hit the ground. Thanks. I'll catch your dragonfly in return. I really don't want any bugs. It's here! A large insect flew past my head. Takako chased after it. I watched her disappear into the distance, then pinched my hand. It hurt a bit. When I looked back up... So you're not dreaming? Huh? She did that to see if she was dreaming or not, right? When I looked back at Takako, I saw her standing in place, gazing at a certain spot. She slowly extended her arm. Her hand suddenly moved and seized something. Got it! She rushed back towards me, carrying her prey. In your bare hands? The dragonfly that flew past my head earlier now sat motionless at Tako's palm. Her fingers were holding down its wings, preventing it from moving. Very dexterous. I caught a dragonfly. Did you actually catch it with your bare hands? Just like the fish. It's the first time I managed to pull that off. Impressed? You're going to give it to your friend, correct? Yeah. You think she'll forgive me? Don't forget to bring her the doll, too. It's important to her. Okay. The small Takako pulled out an insect cage from the backpack under the slide and placed a dragonfly into it. She then shoved the cage back into her backpack. She put the doll in the backpack as well. I briefly glanced at my wristwatch. It was 6 o'clock. Are you going home? Takako asked as she returned. Yes. Let's play a bit more. I wish I could, but I have to hurry back. I feel like I was in the middle of something important. Ah. As Takako heaved a sigh of disappointment, I pinched my hand again. This time I did it a bit harder. It felt no different from last time. I looked around the park and then up at the sky. Its color was an odd mix of purple and pink, the kind I'd never seen before. Do you know how I can leave? I asked the small Takako. Takako shook her head. I suppose you wouldn't. If you got nowhere to go, you can come to my house. Oh, in this CG, the background is drawn instead of being a photograph. Takako pulled the hem of my skirt as I wondered what to do. I took a step towards her to avoid it getting stretched, but Takako, interpreting that as a sign of consent, began walking further. We left the park and passed a street with a tenement house at the corner, I don't know what that is, emerging on a slope stretching deep into the mountain. A tenement house is a multi-family rental building, often characterized by overcrowded, poorly built, and substandard conditions. Okay. I spotted a thick cable car wire above it. Turning around, I noticed that the houses behind me had disappeared. Is this implying that this is the same... Is this implying that this is the same city that is, like, right next to the mental asylum? Because they also mentioned for the sanatorium that it had, like, a cable car that led up to it, up the mountain, right? So is this implying that this is the same city? Before I knew it, I was walking on the stone pavement. Is this really the right way? Yeah, don't worry. I watched a cable car descend the slope. Its rear half was a box with seats and windows. Okay, no, this is something different. This is fucking LA, right? Or San Francisco, or wherever Alcatraz was. It reminded me of a red tin can with wooden windows. It had various posters inside, each depicting different advertisements ranging from movies to shoe shops. The empty cable car stopped on the rotating plate and turned around. I think it wasn't the cable car that led up to the sanatorium, it was something else, right? It was like a... I guess it wouldn't technically be called a cable car. Takako grabbed one of its rails and was about to get in. Are you riding this? Yeah. Why not? Takako got inside and climbed onto a long bench by the window. I sat down next to Takako and glanced in the same direction as her. Colorful bricks and concrete houses surrounded the slope we were ascending. Their roofs lined up like stairs, serving as balconies for every higher building. Is something the matter? Look. Takako looked at me. Then pointing at the big window at the back of the car, I could see a harbor beyond it. The slope we were ascending cleaved the western city in two, almost like Moses did the Red Sea in ancient times. Further beyond, a wide cobalt green sea stretched as far as the eye could see. A few vanilla-colored clouds drifted along the blue sky above. I went there with Sachiko the other day. We boarded the ship. No? Takako pointed at the lone island in the distance. I've never been there. Really? It was fun. Takako lowered herself down onto the bench. You've got good friends. Yeah. One time I wanted to show her my new trick with stilts, but I fell and scraped my leg so much it started bleeding. She ended up taking me to the hospital. Again? Those were pretty tall, weren't they? I should have known it was a bad idea when you needed to climb on the roof just to get on them. What the fuck? The cable car passed under a large tree, the leaves of which cast gently flickering shadows. Takako took out the insect box from her bag and observed a dragonfly. After getting bored of that, she took out the doll and began moving its hands. Let's play Shiratori. Oh, I love Shiratori. Squirrel. Lettuce. Okay. They're not even gonna attempt to translate this, but that's okay. Egg. Okay. Giraffe. How does Tamago go into Kirin? I need to see the original translation I need to see like the original Japanese for this. Eagle. Earthworm. Mango. Mango. Opal. Lettuce. Egg. You're not allowed to say the same word again. Giraffe. Eagle. You're cheating. Earthworm. Mango. Opal. Lettuce. Egg. Hey, you can't repeat them. You lose. Takako leaned against me as I gazed at the scenery beyond the window. Her eyes were closed while she rocked back and forth with each bump. Are you sleeping? No. Is your house really that far? Don't worry. We passed under a large tree, the leaves of which cast gently flickering shadows. Okay, this is repeating. I went to a picnic with Sachiko. Just you two? Narasaki was there too. Sachiko made a lunchbox for each of us. Her egg omelet tasted really sweet. With that, Takako fell asleep on my shoulder. I looked out the car's front window and saw the vast cobalt blue sea in the distance. Turning around, I saw the exact same view behind us, westward buildings and trees along the sea. The only difference between the two were the colors. Okay. So you're on an island? Looking at Takako sleeping on my shoulder, I too closed my eyes in the gently swaying car. That was weird. Oh, it's not over. Feeling someone shake my shoulder, I opened my eyes. We're here. Still half asleep, I followed Takako out of the car. There was the sound of a bell, and the cable car began turning around. Here. Takako pulled me by the hand. This is your house? I feel like you're about to kill me and hide my body. The sensation of the ground changed, and as I shook my drowsiness, I realized we were on a mountain path surrounded by tall trees. The leaves above us blocking out most of the light, I couldn't quite make out how far the trail extended. We're almost there. Oh no, not the fucking tunnel. After a short while, we reached a tunnel made of bricks and stones. We continued inside, the faint light behind us waning like a candle flame. The darker it got, the colder it felt inside, until it disappeared altogether. I'm lost, but all we did was walk in a straight line. You want to go back? Takako stopped, her hand still clutching mine. I picked a bunch of different paths, but I no longer remember which ones. I didn't notice at all. What do we do now? You have no idea where we are at all? It's dark here. Just hug the right wall and keep walking, right? You'll eventually make it out. Well, it certainly is. Okay. Oh. I walked across a shallow beach that stars flickered in the water puddles as I stepped on them. Okay, Narasaki, I have some questions for you. However, the scenery would not change no matter how far I walked. It was either a starry sky or a starry sky with some holes repeating over and over. Well now, I stuck my right index finger into my mouth and bit down on it. It hurt. Glancing at one of the puddles, I saw the reflection of a woman with long black hair and black eyes staring back at me. Okay, so you're Sachiko right now. I closed one of my eyes and so did she. I shifted my gaze back to the horizon. I stuck my hand in my pocket and fished out my car keys. They felt cold to the touch. I turned them a few times in my hand and continued towards the horizon. Suddenly, I felt like I heard something. I took a few more steps and the noise, a kind of static reminiscent of hearing tests, increased. I stopped and strained my ears to listen. The sound was coming from below. However, there was only a puddle of water at my feet, its surface reflecting a massive black cloud. But just when I looked up, the puddle suddenly swallowed me. Heavy rain poured all over me. I was still on the same shallow beach, except now it was in the middle of a storm. As I glanced at the black cloud, the rainfall grew in intensity. Following the apparent source of the sound, the place where it felt the loudest, I soon reached a tropical forest of sorts. I rushed there to escape the rain. Oh, this is where the crab cock-blocked Takako. Water trickled down my hair, getting into my eyes. Suddenly, I heard something from the woods. Someone there? I spotted traces of footsteps in the direction the sound was coming from. I followed them, noticing some broken branches along the way as well. I stepped over a big set of roots rising from the ground and climbed the limestone rock blackened by the elements to find a hole splitting the path in two. It was the entrance to a cave surrounded by ferns. Look at how huge it is. I heard something reminiscent of human voices from within. Is someone there? I repeated my question. My words reverberated across the cave walls. I waited for a dozen or so seconds but received no reply. I climbed down the hole, having reached an area with a solid roof. The sound of rain outside began to abate. Instead, I heard a scarce dripping of water. There were countless paths branching off in various directions in front of me. Some were too narrow for a person to pass, while others seemed good enough to drive a car through. All of them had complex shapes like lava stones. I pressed forward, trying to find some even footing, when I heard disjointed voices from some of the tunnels. Wanted to show me? Fireflies. You mean, was told you wanted to see. Is this the conversation Sachiko and Takako had when they came to this cave? I don't remember exactly. I followed the voices until I saw a light beyond a large black rock. Ah, I heard a voice right by my ear. Whoa. As I stepped on a puddle of water, my leg got swallowed by it. The sensation was similar to missing a step on the stairs. I ended up losing my balance and plummeted down into a dark void. Ooh. I opened my eyes only to realize I was slowly sinking. As I regained control of my body, I extended my arms and landed at the bottom. The water was crystal clear. If one discounted the sensation of weightlessness, this was hardly different from the inside of the cave. Aren't you wearing different clothes? I exhaled a breath. It didn't feel uncomfortable at all. The air bubbles ascended, getting sucked towards the light coming from the hole I fell through. I heard a voice from beyond the water. There was a dark cave entrance right in the middle of the seabed. Seabed? I turned around and began walking towards it. It felt like walking in clouds. Although I drew further away from the light coming from the hole, it painted the entire place pale blue, almost like it had simply melted into the water. I was moving onwards with one hand on the wall when I heard some voices again. Whoa, there's a window here. I can see the vegetables in the inner yard from here. There was a huge window covered by the stairs too. I wonder if they built them later. They must have been in quite a hurry when they did that. Few people nowadays think of modern architecture as superior. Ah, look at how small that door is. I wonder if it's a broom closet. Oh, it's locked. You can ask the landlord about it later. Okay, is this them like first arriving at their new house? I'll do that. I wonder if it's this room. The plate matches the key at least. Let me see if it fits the lock. It's bigger than I thought. Concrete walls, huh? We could raise hell in here and no one would hear us. I'm not planning to do anything like that. I don't know, I have concrete walls in my apartment and I certainly hear some stuff. I'll open the windows. Alright. So we're taking this one? Yeah. Okay, we have to get our stuff then. Tomorrow's going to be a busy day. Indeed. I continued down the rocky path, sweeping my hand through the water. Are you there? My voice turned into bubbles, disappearing in the darkness above me. I realized the cave ceiling had grown low enough for me to reach it. The path turned more uneven, so I slowed my pace and continued in careful steps. I spotted the silhouette of a crouching person in front of a large rock in the distance. As I drew closer, I realized it was just an old doll. Is it you? Was the doll you've always been carrying just a doll of you? The path would go narrow, then widen up again. However, the rock wall surrounding me on both sides remained the same. I completely lost sense of how far I'd walked. I could no longer hear anything besides the echo of the dripping water and my own footsteps. On the other side of the rock, there was a huge puddle of water. I also spotted a large hole in the rocks beyond it. While I caught a glimpse of some green trees and the darkened sky beyond the hole, most of the view was blocked by the water pouring down through it like a waterfall. The ceiling rocks around it glimmered in pale bluish hue. As the dark cloud passed by the hole, the ceiling lit up like a sky illuminated by stars. I realized that my body felt very heavy. The sensation of walking underwater faded, and I was once again back on solid ground. I stopped for a while to observe the blue stars, which formed no constellation whatsoever, as well as the puddle in the waterfall. The path ended here. I looked down into the water. It looked like a stairway continuing downward without a hand. I want to see it. I could have sworn I heard Kozue's voice. I'm too tired to go back now. I stepped into the water and was transported to a shining blue world. Oh, new music. After the voices had ceased, I continued down the lone path for a while. Soon enough, I started hearing something in the distance again. It reminded me of a rock falling on something hard, or perhaps a chess piece swiftly being placed on the board. Yep. Remember the girl that was with us when we talked to Lily? Yes. Don't you think she's just like you when you were little? Really? In what way? Her unsociable attitude and quick wits. Actually, that part of you hasn't changed at all. When did you become like that? I think I was born this way. Takako had sociability for the both of us. And you were the brains for you both. That sounds about right. Suddenly, one of my legs sank into the ground. I saw a puddle, black as ink, as I glanced down. Beyond the slope behind me, I saw a sparkling water surface. Above it fluttered the starlit sky. The black puddle by my feet grew bigger, separating from water like oil. The heavy water, like a black mirror, gave a clear reflection of my body. I tried stepping forward, creating a ripple in the darkness, and felt my shoe press against the hard, rocky bottom underneath it. I put my other leg into the blackness. I felt like I had stepped into the deep sea. There was solid ground on my feet, yet I continued sinking. The blackness enveloped me, robbing me of sight. However, the ground evened out, making it easier to walk forward. I strained my ears and heard another sound. It reminded me of the clanging of dishes. I don't think we've ever seen a sprite of Sachiko in like your business attire before. It smells great, but I like it when it's more sweet. Why would you want to ruin the taste of something this delicious? This flavor might have been a bit too early for you, Takako. I heard Sachiko Takako and the voice of another woman I didn't know. It has been a while since we've seen Fumi. Instant tea is already more than good enough for her. Is that still apple tea? Yeah, Sachiko brings it home sometimes. It's a bit too sweet, but it's not bad for the price. And this is the instant green tea, right? Yep. It only has Ceylon written on the label. Ceylon, you mean Sri Lanka? Speaking of tea brands from Sri Lanka, Five Kinds is a good one. I'm not very knowledgeable in Sri Lankan tea brands. Whoa, that's a cool name. Sounds almost like some superhero show. It refers to 5 tea leaves: Uva, Candy, Noir, Elia, Dimbula, and Ruhuna. Of course. It sounds like Darjeeling tea. Ranger Red. I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. That's the only color it has, though. Does the background behind you explode when you drink your apple tea? Wouldn't it be a problem if you could buy something that dangerous so easily? We should blackmail them and claim the entire tea shop for ourselves. Yeah. You two are starting to lose me. And it's not even spring yet. Okay. The voices grew louder as I continued, then began to fade as though I had just walked past them. When the voices completely ceased, I strained my ears again, but could no longer hear a thing. I tried saying something myself, but it had no effect. I couldn't perceive anything besides the ground on my feet, so I didn't even know how wide this cave was right now. After confirming the condition of the auditory landscape, I started walking again. Something akin to mist appeared in the darkness in front of me. It looked kind of red and blue at the same time. As I followed it with my eyes, a small girl appeared in the corner of my eyes and dashed further into the cave. She looked like Takako in her childhood. I didn't actually see her directly. It was just a reflection on the cave wall. God, that fucking hurts my eyes, Jesus. This is hard to read. I narrowed my eyes while still looking at that huge black mirror when a light suddenly lit up behind me. Its reflection on the wall momentarily rendered me blind. Yeah, me too. I turned the page. The rays of the evening sun filtered in through the window of the dead-silent classroom. The white curtains fluttered as a gust of cold wind swept into the room through the open window, cooling my cheeks. I glanced at the clock. I could hear a plane and the voices of children in the distance. Let's do this. I suddenly heard Takako's voice from outside. Well? Wow. It actually got stuck in the trunk. I looked down to the window to see Takako and one of her classmates throwing something at a cherry blossom tree behind the judo hall. What on the earth are you two doing there? Our English teacher appeared from within the school building. Oh shit. Everyone around the tree scattered like startled animals. The teacher went after Takako, who seemed to be the most likely ringleader, and caught her by the collar. He then pulled her back into the building. I glanced at the clock again and returned to my book. You don't give a shit. After about 50 pages, I heard footsteps in the corridor. Takako entered the classroom with a sigh. Huh? I thought you already left, Sachiko. I've forgotten my keys, so I need to wait until my sister gets home. Okay. I see. Wait, do you have a sister? Huh? That's new. Let's go home together then. She sat down in her seat, which was right in front of mine. Oh, that's right. I wanted you to help me with homework, but we didn't get anything today. I have to write a written apology in English. What did you do this time? Takako took out a small steel plate from her skirt pocket and handed it to me. The rest got confiscated. Is that the shuriken you bought during our last school trip? I used a whetstone in the industrial arts room to sharpen them. Oh, and I wouldn't recommend touching the edges. The edges of the sill glimmered in the sharp silver light. Are you serious? The teachers got angry at me when I tested them on a tree. Yeah, no shit. Of course they did. Are you crazy? I do feel sorry, okay? Takako let out a groan. So what exactly happened with the teachers there? They said that trees can start to rot if you damage their bark. I'm more worried about you throwing shurikens around other people. Like, that's fucking dangerous. Especially when you, you explicitly sharpened them. That's all? They then told me to consider how I'd feel if someone threw these things at me. I think you should be expelled, I think, for throwing fucking shurikens on school ground. That's insane. And did you? Takako clutched her stomach and fell to her knees. Are you still planning to keep that up? No. You don't need this anymore. I folded my handkerchief around the shuriken and put it in my bag. Where are you taking it? I'll bring it to the teacher's room. They can do away with it like they did with the rest. Wait, you don't have a use for it anymore, do you? It has sentimental value. I know you won't be able to resist if it's right in front of your eyes. She considered me with imploring eyes for a moment and clutched her head and collapsed onto the desk with her upper body. You have no idea how long it took to sharpen them. She let out another groan. You're always having fun. Takako lazily raised her face with her upper body still on the desk. And you're not? Aside from studying, not really. I don't like to be around so many people. Really? Yes. The sound of a bat hitting a ball reached us from the baseball field. I have an idea. Let's go bury milk under the baseball field. The school building beyond the window, the cherry blossoms around them, and the scenery of the town in the distance had all been painted orange by the evening sun. Oh, we're back in the cave. Looking around, I saw brick walls in the darkness. One of them had a hole, through which I could see some greenery. I approached and tried touching the leaves, but my hand passed through them like they were fog. After that, they immediately vanished. I'm scared. Takako clasped the hem of my skirt with both of her hands. I can't walk like this. I stuck my hand under her armpit and lifted her up. I took a few steps back and lowered myself onto a big rock, ending up with Takako on my lap. We're not walking anymore? We're just taking a short break. I could feel Takako wriggle on my knees even though I couldn't see her. The sound of dripping... What do you mean you couldn't see her? The sound of dripping water reverberated across the tunnel's walls. Because it's so dark? I heard a gulp. Are you thirsty? Thanks. I reached out towards her and took a thermos bottle lid from her. The liquid inside it was cool, but I couldn't quite tell the taste. Do you have tea in this? It was either water, tea, or juice. I took another sip. If it was water, it should have been tasteless. If it was tea, there should have been a bitter aftertaste, and juice should have had a certain sweetness to it. I forgot. I can't tell either. After I finished the contents of the lid, I placed it on Takako's head for her to take it away. One more? I'm fine. I felt Takako move on my lap again. What's wrong? Let's go. Did you remember the correct way? No, but then it's okay. Let's rest for a while longer. Staring into the darkness, I spotted something in the corner of my eye that reminded me of letters. I shifted my gaze to them, but they blurred together and disappeared like water paint. Are you angry? Takako asked. Why do you think that? Well, we got lost because of me. I'm not angry. Really? Don't worry, it shouldn't be that hard to get out of here. But yeah, I'm not angry, but you never think anything you do true. You should keep that in mind next time. I found Tako's face in the darkness and she eased her cheeks. Okay. I let her go. I'm hungry. Don't you have some snacks in your bag? Oh, right. Takako picked up her backpack. The sound of a zipper followed soon after. Huh? You ran out? No, there were some candies inside. Here you go. Takako handed me a candy. I felt something hard and round being placed into my palm. Takako bit for her own with an audible crunch. I popped the candy into my mouth. It had a sweet, artificial aroma, but I couldn't identify exactly which food it was supposed to be. Takako continued munching away on her candy. After a while, she stopped moving and I could hear her breathing even out as she dozed off. All of a sudden, I heard approaching footsteps. Uh-oh. Turning towards the start of the sound, I saw a dim light in the distance. Is this Takako? From when she came here in the sanatorium? I grew bigger as the footsteps drew closer, making my eyes hurt. Oh no, it's you. Hello. Through my narrowed eyes, I could make out Narasaki with a lighter in hand. She spotted us and raised her hand. Hey, Narasaki? Took me a while to find you. You're looking for me? Yep. Narasaki's white coat was rinsed in the water, making her curves stand out more so than usual. What happened to you? You're completely soaked. It's a long story. I had a few adventures on my way here. Getting a lot of CGs. Narasaki's mouth was stared at the water drops drip from her hair. She placed the lighter on the ground and sat down on a rock in front of me. Were you worried about me? Yeah, I thought you might be in trouble again. You truly are obsessed with your work. It's not like I have anything else to do. Oh, I see Takako's here too. Long time no see. Upon noticing Takako, she quickly waved in her direction. I stared at Narasaki. She returned me with a questioning look. I just thought it was kind of odd to see you together like this. Okay. Narasaki made a characteristically faint smile. Time doesn't exist here, so the unusual is actually not so unusual at all. Oh, okay. Because we're in a dream? Not exactly. How is this not a dream? Well, it's not like I comprehend everything about this phenomenon either, but there are a few crucial things I noticed that separate it from a dream. I'd say this is simply a place where the present and the past cross. Okay. Yay! What is that supposed to mean? Okay, let me stop from explaining how it's different from a dream. Didn't you feel anything unusual on your way to this place? I retraced my steps with a small Takako. I thought it was just another dream at first, but I could remember I was in Nane's mansion just before, and it feels a bit too realistic. I don't know how to put it. You tried biting your finger. You've got your full wits about you, Narasaki added. Yes, that's it. It's too realistic for a dream, but I can tell it cannot be real. It's as though there's a translucent membrane separating me from it. I guess it feels a bit like when you hypnotize me. Exactly. My hypnosis partially recreated this exact same state. So this is neither reality nor a dream? Yeah. Well, I guess it still depends on your definition of a dream. Oh? Narasaki inhaled a breath. Okay then, let me explain both this place and your condition. I still had many questions, but I decided not to interrupt her. Please do, Narasaki. I have a feeling this is going to be very funny. Narasaki made a small nod and opened her mouth. For starters, I wouldn't say you're awake right now. Your condition is similar to sleeping or being hypnotized, but it's not entirely like that. As I mentioned before, your consciousness is fully alert. Now, when you sleep or are hypnotized, your consciousness should grow foggy and become receptive to any information with little scrutiny. However, you keep questioning and analyzing everything around you right now, correct? In a way, you could say you somehow ended up in a dream with your consciousness unaffected. It's not something that happens often though, so I wouldn't bet on it. You're saying this is a lucid dream? Anyway, that's the gist of it. Narasaki showed me her hand and spread her fingers apart. Let's say that each of these fingers represent one of the 5 senses, while the palm is the mind. When you're awake, your hand is open like this. Your fingers are like antennas transferring information to your mind from the outside world. Narasaki closed the gaps between her fingers. When you sleep, your antennas are closed like this. You need to fold them up when your brain organizes the information you received. Next, you made a fist, and this is your current situation. Your senses have changed directions and are pointing inwards. They are functioning properly, but aren't directed outside. They are trying to get information from inside your mind. What does the inside of my mind smell like? Can I ask something? Yeah. When you talk about the senses, you mean sight, hearing, touch, and so on, right? How can they face inwards? My eyes, ears, skins, and so on only exist in the real world, right? Of course, it's not your actual sense organs that are inverted, but the channels that the information travel through. Once again, Narasaki, can you please show me your medical license? Just think of it as a metaphor or whatever, she added. Okay, I gave her a hesitant answer. I tried imagining what she meant. Narasaki said nothing over that time, so I asked her another question. So if my senses are inverted right now, what about everything I'm sensing here? It's neither real nor a dream, correct? Narasaki gestured towards her surrounding. You're in your mind palace. That's one more thing I need to explain. About this place and where it actually is. Do you remember how we discussed the alternate world in your head when we were talking about the symptoms of your hallucinations? I remember that event from the real world. It was something I discussed with Narasaki right after waking up from a nap in the rest area at the end of the corridor in Nane's mansion. Was it when you said that the directions would all be inverted? Yes, that's this place. You're perceiving that alternate world right now. I tried understanding what she said, but only ended up with more questions. What kind of world was it supposed to be? Why did it exist in the first place? I mean, the fact that Narasaki is here seems to imply that, and the fact that Narasaki was a toy in the memory, seems to imply that Narasaki is just a figment of Sachiko's imagination. I don't know how that works exactly, because a lot of people have interacted with Narasaki. Did they just think that they were interacting with Sachiko instead? I guess Sachiko did buy that psychology book at the library, right? Was that supposed to be foreshadowing to explain, like, why she knew so much psychology stuff when she was acting as Narasaki? Because she had read the psychology book that she borrowed? I don't know. Why did it exist in the first place? What was its purpose? Did it even have any? And why was I here right now? Confused by that endless stream of questions, I began to see the contours of my surroundings as increasingly blurry. Or perhaps I was merely imagining things. Either way, after a blink, everything had returned to normal. It must have been caused by the darkness around us. I glanced at Takako, still resting on my knees, then I had my own arms cradling her. What is happening to me in the real world? The condition is similar to being lightly hypnotized right now. It's actually a bit problematic, to tell the truth. You've already experienced hypnosis before, so you can probably tell that some of the memories inaccessible during normal sleep get unlocked by in this condition. A professional usually guides you in the right direction while you're in that state, but right now you have no one guiding you. If you stay in here for too long, your memories might get all over the place and won't return to their proper location. And without anyone guiding you, there's no one to wake you up either. Won't someone just notice I was sleeping for too long and wake me up? As long as your consciousness is in here, you won't wake up no matter what they do. What? What am I supposed to do to come back? Relax. It's actually not that hard. For starters, you've got to draw your consciousness away from here. And the easiest way to do that is simply to sleep. You might be a bit uncomfortable in a place like this, but what can you do? Is there anything else? I'll carry the real you to your bed, so you can wake up in your usual place. What do you mean? I imagine Narasaki carrying me on her back. No one had done that to me since I was a child, so it felt a bit embarrassing. But I was asleep, so I probably wouldn't remember it anyway. That's all? Yep, said Narasaki. What happens if my memories can't return to their proper location? You said it was odd to see me and the young Takako together. If you stay in here for too long, it'll stop seeming that way to you, and it'll get harder and harder to remember reality. In the end, you might even start thinking of reality as a dream and this world as real. Start imagining what it would mean to never return. This wasn't a dream, but a world inside my mind. Is this what happened to Takako? It was different from sleeping, but at the same time very similar to it. A dream you cannot wake up from. If I stayed here for too long, I wouldn't be able to come back. There were still many things that didn't make sense to me. This world was ambiguous and uncertain, almost like a fairy tale. Was it because half of my brain was asleep or something? Narasaki waited for my reaction with a gentle expression. It's okay. I know what's on your mind. I think. Your current condition is something akin to having been swallowed by a massive wave and being unable to tell up from down. Besides, your senses are dulled even further in a dark place like this. It's because of this place that I have trouble following this? Yes. I don't know, I'm not really following either, but I mean, I'm following, but I don't know if it really makes sense. Narasaki looked around the darkness. Lighter illuminated the rock wall surrounding us. The rocks in the darkness made complex patterns at the boundary of the light. I watched them until they turned into something akin to a kaleidoscope. I wonder how I ended up like this. I don't know the details, but something I'd like to know myself. Narasaki turned to me. Takako was sleeping on my lap. I tried remembering the path I took to reach this place, but the cable car was the furthest my memories would go. Everything before that point was covered by a thick fog. Not that it mattered if I remembered the beginning. I doubted that the path I took in this world had much of a connection to the cause, which likely happened in reality. If you're looking for a clue, you shouldn't look for it within the dream. I felt as though she had read my mind, but she continued before I could say anything. Did Nanae say something to you? Nanae? An image of a person materialized in my mind. The new friend I made, she strongly reminded me of Takako. That's right, I was talking to her. I placed my arm on Tako's hair and tried remembering what happened. She said she wanted me to live with her in the mansion. Narasaki slowly nodded. When I said nothing else, she inhaled a breath and closed her eyes. That doesn't sound too bad. I suppose so. I stroked Tako's hair. I'm sorry for making you worry like this. Don't be, I'm the one who should have paid more attention to you. I heard a drop of water fall in the distance. Why did you go to such a dark cave anyway? I followed her. I gave Tako's head a pat which made her lightly squirm in her sleep. This brings back memories. Yes, she'd always take me to odd places and we'd get lost. I've been meaning to ask, but why do you keep following her then? I don't know. I was afraid to let her go by herself, and I suppose I preferred spending time with her to being alone. I see. And I always scold her when that happens. We were just discussing that before you came. What do you do to extrapolate from this situation? If you go into a dark place following just your instincts, you'll get lost. That makes sense. I knew a few words alone won't change her. Not to mention she was particularly reckless during this period. She's still little, she can't differentiate between do's and don'ts just yet. Yeah, I just realized something. When she was little, Takako might have actually been testing herself. I still wish she'd been more cautious though. You were always the cautious one. You were pretty calm and thoughtful, even though you didn't know much more than her. Was it really like that? Yeah, most of the little children don't know much about the world, which is why they are always so curious about everything. They have yet to get hurt and no fear, which leads them to want to try all sorts of things. Takako stopped with her mouth open against my chest, looking kind of foolish. Like trying on stilts that are too large, only to lose your balance and crash into the ground. That's the kind of kid she was. Indeed. This is how kids learn about the world around them. So I'll calm down eventually. So you know about this tilt story too. Takako had always been interested in everything, no matter how old she got. I, on the other hand, had very few interest, like you've said before. Takako closed her mouth as the silly sound began squirming on top of me again. Okay, wait, never mind. Sachiko is the one that said this line. I see. Perhaps I was just curious why Takako was so excited about everything. I looked down to see Tako's small hand on my chest. Her tiny chest rose up and down in sync with her breathing. I wonder where she was trying to take me this time. She didn't tell you? She said she was taking me home, but it doesn't seem like it was Tako's whole house, not the one I'm familiar with anyway. I'm not sure if she was telling the truth either. On the other end of the light, Narasaki stooped down a little and joined her hands on her knees, then separated them again a few times. It's true that Takako's sanatorium is there on the other end of this tunnel. Excuse me? What do you mean by that? Takako's sanatorium is on the other end of this tunnel. Please explain? Why do you know that? Why do you know that? I used to work there, said Narasaki in a nonchalant tone, all the while fixing her eyes on me. I had many things I wanted to ask her, but they all disappeared from my mind before I could put them into words. My head just wouldn't function properly. Narasaki was the first to speak up. You want to be with her forever? I looked at her and shook my head. If you're worried, I imagine other people would be worried about me just the same. That's not a problem. If you want to remain here, I'll take care of the other side. What do you mean, take care? I'd inconvenience a lot of people if I just remain unconscious for the rest of my life. That's not big of an issue as you think. If you simply dispel the state of hypnosis from your body, it won't be that different from the real you, even if your consciousness remains here. Oh, okay. I'll be capable of everything you were. You just won't be conscious of it. How can you be like me if my consciousness is not there? People can survive without a consciousness just fine. What the fuck are you talking about? Do you remember how you ate your dinner a week ago? What kind of clothes you wore? Your consciousness already doesn't register most of the things you do. Okay, that's different. You're just not remembering. It's different from not being conscious when you do it. Nor do others. And even you, as the main consciousness, can't figure out how you ended up in this condition. You could switch out a person with a hollow robot, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference most of the time. Not unless you know that person extremely well. Nasaki continued as I fell silent. I thought you should just do what you want. Now that all the doors of your memories are open, you can return to any place you wish. You can attend school with Takako again. Narasaki considered the darkness to the right. The lighter illuminated the right half of Narasaki's cheeks. Then she shifted her gaze to the darkness behind me. If you go over there, you'll get the sanatorium she currently resides at. It's cool, huh? I enjoyed staying in the classroom after everyone had gone home or to their clubs, just reading books on my own. Sometimes I could hear the lousy sounds of someone practicing the trumpet in the music room, or the racket of the boys playing football or baseball in the athletics field. I grew fond of that bustling, but nonetheless calm atmosphere. I only realized that after I graduated and the time I spent alone increased. You can come back. Takako will be there too. The boisterous atmosphere I love possesses a sense of change. Everyone at school had goals and dreams. They change and evolve to achieve them. Going back there with Takako would mean returning to a stagnant environment. She would be bored to death by it all. More than anything, she loves the new, the fresh. Perhaps you're right. Then how about over there? Her distant gaze returned to me. I don't know, but I still feel like it wouldn't be right. Both places exist only inside my mind, so there'd be little difference between them anyway. So you're saying that the sanatorium that we've been seeing from Takako's POV was all in Sachiko's mind? She was imagining Takako inside the sanatorium with like a random nurse and a random patient? But why? I realized Narasaki's eyes had narrowed, and as though she was scrutinizing me. Then again, it could also have just been an illusion of the dim flickering light. No, the place alone is slightly different. It's designed so that Takako, who likes new things, wouldn't get bored. Narasaki closed her mouth. I looked up and saw only darkness. I couldn't make out the ceiling. I imagined the sanatorium Takako stayed at within that darkness. I learned that Takako was here, and that's good enough for me. If that's okay with you, I have nothing else to say, said Narasaki. Let's get out of here then, she added. There's something else I'd like to ask you. Okay, but asking something about Takako myself would be fairly pointless. Why? You'll forget everything the moment you wake up. Are you going? Yeah, it's not like time on the other side has stopped. You wouldn't want to catch a cold, would you? Narasaki stood up and patted her coat to see if it had dried up. It had, which didn't particularly surprise me. So how do we leave? You gotta fall asleep. I'll walk out. You should just go to sleep if you start feeling drowsy. That's all I need to do? Yeah, I'll leave the ladder with you. Having stayed in this darkness for so long, it's possible your consciousness might melt away or something before you even get the chance to go sleepy. Don't leave this area, okay? Okay. Narasaki nodded. I realized something by coming here. The reason I made up that story about Takako going missing. I probably couldn't acknowledge that Takako is no longer here. What do you mean, this Takako? Why do you think that? I left at the tiny sleeping Takako. Because it hurts. A lot. I stroked Takako's hair. I see. Narasaki. I wanted to ask her what she thought of it, but quickly changed my mind. It's important what I think, isn't it? Yep. Well then, Narasaki turned towards the darkness. Dialogues are weird here. Because it hurts a lot? I see. Narasaki. Well then, Narasaki turned towards the darkness. Are you going to be okay? It's no big deal. Narasaki smiled. Is there anything else bothering you? Nope, I'm sure it'll be fine no matter what happens. I will. Don't you need any light? My eyes have gotten used to the dark by now. I see. Good night and sweet dreams. Thanks. Narasaki waved me goodbye and disappeared into the darkness. Her footsteps grew distant until I could no longer hear them. The light seemed to have grown somewhat smaller compared to when Narasaki was here. Okay. I mean, in a way, I feel like that was... I'm gonna stop here, by the way. In a way, I feel like that was, like, a lot of answers, but also I feel like we didn't really get anything in terms of answers. So we're saying that the sanatorium is in Sachiko's mind? So Takako really did die, and she just has the memories of Takako living in the sanatorium in her head? Why a sanatorium? And why does Takako in the dream, or not in the dream, in Sachiko's mind, like, have memory issues and have the ringing in her ear? Does she have the ringing because Sachiko has a ringing? So whenever Sachiko had a ringing in her ear, then Takako had it as well because she was in her mind? I don't know. This is weird. Also, here's the biggest question. How does An fit into all this? What's An's deal? Annalise. Also, what is Narasaki? Because my first thought when I saw the whole toy thing was that Narasaki was just like a figment of Sachiko's imagination. And every time we saw Narasaki interact with someone, it wasn't real. But it doesn't seem like that's it. Because Narasaki was talking about like moving Sachiko's body in the real world, and there have been a lot of people that have interacted with Narasaki. And Sachiko, we did see Sachiko go to the clinic where Narasaki worked, unless you were just imagining all of that. I guess when Narasaki says that she would move Sachiko's body in real life, she could mean like she would take over Sachiko's body as like the dominant personality or whatever. But we're getting really wild with it if that's what she's saying. I mean, actually, that probably is it, right? For the sanatorium thing, like I've suspected that the sanatorium isn't real for a while, because obviously it's like really weird, like a giant sanatorium and there's only one person working there and there's 3 patients, and like everything just feels a bit off. Like I've suspected for a while that the sanatorium isn't real, but the idea that it is in Sachiko's mind just seems off to me. Like that is a very active imagination for you to have, Sachiko. They're very detailed. How do the ghost stories of people disappearing fit into all this? I don't know. What I'm trying to say is I've still got a lot of questions, so hopefully I get more answers than just that, because I still have a lot of questions. Who is Kozue? Did Kozue only start showing up in the sanatorium after Sachiko had met her in real life, so she like added her to the sanatorium in the memory? Or in her head? I guess technically Kozue did only show up in Takako's story after we had seen her in Sachiko's story, so I guess that makes sense. But does it though? Because if you apply that logic, that only things that Sachiko knew about were in the sanatorium, that doesn't make sense, because chapter 1 was in the sanatorium, right? And that was before the chapter in which Sachiko first arrived at the hotel. But the sanatorium obviously is the hotel. But how would Sachiko know what the hotel looked like in her mind before she had arrived at the hotel? Unless the whole thing is being told non-chronologically, and the entire memories, the entire like Takako and the sanatorium in her mind only started being a thing after she arrived at the hotel, even though we saw those scenes before she arrived. And even though Takako is talking as if she's been here for like, I forgot how long, but she's been here she said she'd been in the sanatorium for multiple months, right? Maybe even a year, I forget exactly. But Sachiko has been at the hotel for like a couple weeks max. So does time flow faster in her head, or I don't know? Because she couldn't imagine the sanatorium before having gone to the hotel, because they're the same thing. Yeah, I don't know, but just lots of questions. Still waiting for answers for most of them. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna stop here for now. See you next time. I have a feeling next time is going to be very wacky. I think a lot of interesting stuff is going to happen next time, so I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, see you next time.